it still looks like a very new ship.
There is a little lack of wow factor. Over 10s, it's lacking a bit, isn't it?
So food in the MDR actually was really good this cruise.
Can't have great service if you don't have a proper... It just seems so moody.
I didn't really have a clue what was going on. I think that's really good value for money. Careful, that chair's clearly broken.
Do you want to get another one?
No, just sit on it and stop moving.
It's going to be. Embarkation. We embarked at Ocean Cruise Terminal for our 5-night cruise. And Rachel, what did we think of embarkation? We had 4 o'clock, didn't we?
We did.
We heard that they were going to be embarking a little bit earlier because they were ahead of time. We dropped off our luggage at 11:30, so we were already in town. Heard that they were ahead of time and letting people in a little bit earlier. We went down there, and how do you think it went?
It was very quick. There was a bit of a queue when we first got there. However, that went very quickly. We were straight into the terminal, probably on the ship within about 30 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah, I think it was about 30 minutes. I think the staff there, we've noticed over the past couple of years, because obviously they are staff for all of the cruise lines down there, and they just get their orders from each cruise line. I think they're really, really efficient there now. Excellent stuff. I just think, obviously, we've talked about this before, I think it'd be even quicker if they had a proper app, not a web page.
Yeah.
That would be better. But all in all, there's not much to say about embarkation. Great drill now, and I put it down as 4.5. Would you agree, Rachel? 4.5.
Where is it lost 0.5 just because of the app?
Because the app for me.
Oh, okay, 4.5 then.
Well, no, but what do you think? Do you think it was a 5?
Well, it would be better, obviously, if it wasn't on an app. But yeah, no, I'd go 4.5 because of that point.
So let's just explain quickly. 4.5 goes into our 8 categories. Our 8 categories are embarkation. I won't ask you because you'll get it wrong. They are the ship, the cabin, the entertainment, the food and drink, value for service, the value for money, not value for service. The service, that's a different category, and the value for money, and the ports of call. And we pop it in our top 10, and we see if it does reach the top 10 of cruises we've been on since COVID. And that brings us to the ship. Of course, obviously it was Iona. What do we think of the ship? First of all, it's got a refit this year. So how do you think it's looking in the year of its refit?
I think, to be honest, I couldn't really see anything on the ship that actually needed to have a refit. It's very up together. It still looks like a very new ship. I can't see that it's going to look too different after refit unless they're going to move things around and make some big changes.
Well, I can't see them doing that in 19 days.
No.
But I was really, really surprised actually how... I know obviously I think they missed some time, so it was not completely 5 years, because obviously if we go back 5 years, we're in COVID, so I think it's been at sea for about 4 years. But I didn't know it was any difference from the time before. There was no obvious signs of ageing after 4 years. I guess you would expect that, but no, it was in really, really good condition. Things you like about the ship, what do you like about it?
I like the atrium. I like the big windows.
You like the big windows and see out. It's true though, because it brings in lots of light, doesn't it?
What else do I like about Iona? It's just a very well put together ship, I think.
It flows well, doesn't it?
It does. It is very big. We all know that I do prefer a smaller ship, but it doesn't feel absolutely massive. Like you can find your way from one side of the ship to the other side of the ship quite easily. Yeah, it's a very aesthetically pleasing ship.
Yes, I agree. And I think that people should listen to you because you do get lost quite easily on ships.
Yeah, I get lost very easily.
So I think actually, yes, it does flow in. I do enjoy the rear of the ship as well. It's got the infinity pools. Yeah, I think I would say, I agree on the flow, I agree on the atrium, brings lots of lights in, some of the atriums are very dark. On the slightly negative front, I would say that it has we've discussed this before with P&O ships, there is a little lack of wow factor. Like, for example, when I flew over with the drone, it seemed very brown, there's no sort of colours here, there, everywhere.
Yeah, nothing really stands out, does it?
Nothing stands out. And one thing we did notice more this time, as our children now are 10 and 12, now Iona mainly does, it does a few 2 weeks, but it mainly does week Norways throughout April to September, and then it does quite a few week ones in Northern Europe in the winter, with a few splashes of 2 weeks here and there to the Canaries and the Mediterranean. We did notice there was a lack of things to do really for the kids on the ship. You know, there's no water park, there's no, which probably wouldn't be needed, but there's no high ropes like Arvia, there's no crazy golf. And I think under 10s with the kids club, it's a great ship, especially for a week in Norway. It'd be absolutely fine. But over 10s, it's lacking a bit, isn't it?
I think it, well, actually no, because we'll come on to that a bit later. I was going to say with the entertainment. But yeah, I think as a ship on a whole, I think unless we were doing a hot cruise and we had really good ports, I don't think I'd go on it with the kids again.
No, I think, yeah, or it was like Norway where we, you know.
Yeah, I think, yeah, if you had a port-heavy cruise, I mean, we did choose to go on a cruise very last minute, and it was all ports that we'd been to before. So although we got off on one day, the other days it was, the kids learned a lot of new card games. So
yeah, that's good.
There was some positives.
Yeah, we will. So yeah, I think for teens you are struggling a little bit for things to do, but it's looking in good shape. I put 3.5. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree, 3.5.
Well, we don't have to stick with 3.5. We can increase it or decrease it.
No, I'd say
3. You're going with a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get this pen and I'm going to drill it out and put a 3.0. Okay?
Yeah.
See, I listened to her. Next up, we've got the cabin. We were staying in a balcony cabin on deck 5. These are known as cove cabins because they are the only ones, the balcony cabins, that are directly in front of the sea. The other ones are obviously as you go, you've got deck 8 and then above, where all the cabins obviously look out at the sea, but you can also look down onto deck 8. You're really close to the sea. And Rachel, what do we think of the cabin? First of all, do you enjoy being next to the sea? And
so I loved the fact that we were so close to the sea. That was really nice, just looking out. Balcony's very small.
Yes, balcony
and
was
also
very small.
the door is different, so it's a push-out door rather than a sliding door. So I didn't really like that. The cabin itself, I think we realised on this cruise that all 4 of us staying in one cabin together is not really very doable. It's just
mainly because our daughter spends nearly 3 hours getting ready, so no one else can go into the toilet.
We just needed a bed in a bathroom really for her.
Yeah.
She would have been quite happy. I think it's just very small, so when you've got 4 of you and the through traffic of trying to get past each other, trying to get ready, it's just a bit of a nightmare. The other thing with P&O, which I'm always saying on the newer ships, is they don't have any drawers, and it really, really frustrates me. And also the wardrobe being so close to the bed, because they're not sliding doors, it's really irritating. Like, we put everything in packing cubes and just shove it all in the wardrobe, so that's fine. But when you're trying to open the wardrobe and it's hitting the bed and someone's sitting on the bed, it was just a bit of a nightmare. So I didn't really enjoy spending any time in the cabin. And the other point being here as well, the kids hate the bunk beds. So I think we did a rotation every single night. Nobody actually slept in the same place. So I think I was on the top bunk a couple of times. Tom was on the top bunk. Both kids tried the top bunk. Yeah, so the beds are not very comfortable, I didn't think. The king-size bed was comfy,
Yeah.
but the sofa bed and the Pullman were not comfortable.
But I think they are made for kids, really. Although obviously adults to a certain weight can
Yeah, it's
sleep
120 kilos, so it's not...
Yeah, exactly. That's me
kilos.
after a good cruise. But it's I think a lot of those are 4B's problems, because obviously this is our realisation cruise, because we haven't been as a 4 for a bit of a while on the cruise. So there was kind of realisation of we need other cabins, etc. The lack of space, I agree, next to the cupboard. Things I do like about the room, I do like the desk area, I do like the TV. The TV is brilliant, I think, to find out where you're navigating to, the films that are available, etc. The TV's good. The bathrooms are a good size as well, so those are the positives in the cabin. So I went for, Rachel, a 2.5 out of 5. Do you agree, disagree? What would you like to say on that?
No, I would agree with the 2.5. I think that's a fair scoring.
Positive and negatives. We continue on. Before we continue on, don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit a like, more people can see it, and subscribe to our great cruising channel.
Please.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Food and drink. So let's go through the details of where we are. Now, we, on this cruise, ate really mostly in included venues. Sometimes we like to go with speciality, but we went 4 times for dinner at the MDR. We went one with lunch at the MDR. We went to the chef's table. Chef's table, if you don't know, basically is an overflow for the MDR on formal night. So don't think it's like other cruise lines where the chef comes out, chats to you and does their own personal meal. It's just a bit of an overflow, and it's part of the buffet. It's sectioned off like the beach house on the other nights. And we went to the Glass House, which is the tapas place on board. That was the speciality. We had Keys breakfast and the buffet breakfast, and we also went to the Olive Grove, which again is included, and you need to book it when you get on. We'll say about that is that when we did get on, there was very limited space. We were on one of the last to get on, and only could get really one of the lunch times 4 days into the cruise. So get booking when you get on board. What did we think? What was the highlights?
So the food in the MDR actually was really good this cruise. I normally would have a complaint or two about food, but I don't think I had a bad meal. Oh, actually, no, I did have one bad meal.
Yeah, I think on the
last night, wasn't it? The beef bourguignon. It was just a really random menu, and I think that night we had tried to go somewhere else to eat, hadn't we? And it was just a bit all over the place. So everyone was a bit stressed, so that's probably why I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I think on previous P&O cruises, I think MDR has really improved the food. And I know sort of other people have mentioning that as well, actually. I thought...
Yeah, they've stepped it up a notch.
Yeah, really good. We always like the Keys. The Keys are really good, aren't they?
I'll just go back, to the MDR. The kids menu on the MDR is really good as well.
Yes, they've got a kids menu now, yeah.
So Alice mainly ate from the adult menu. Ernest picked mostly from the kids menu, but there's a real variety. Most kids would find something that they wanted to eat, and they're really good sized portions as well.
Yeah. Just a note as well, just a quick note, it wasn't worth, you did on the side of the menu in the MDR, they do have an upgraded menu. You can get 3 courses for £16. You didn't really think it was worth it. It was good, but it was MDR standard.
Yeah, it was tasty, but I don't think it was worth £16.95.
No. No. It looked good, but yeah, I think...
I didn't manage the pudding, you ate the pudding, didn't you?
Yeah, and that was good. So it wasn't criticising it, it was a good meal, but it was a good MDR meal. I don't think it was worth the extra £16. Yeah, just to go over, it'd be hard to... We've discussed the buffet lots before, but we didn't really have the buffet, and that's having gone on Britannia before, and compared to Iona and Arvi, you don't need to go to the buffet, and that's what my criticism of Britannia was because there was a lack of other options. But having the Keys, I didn't really feel you needed to go to the buffet at all, really, even if you had a 2-week cruise. Do you agree?
Yeah, I don't actually remember really going in the buffet.
I think we just went once for breakfast.
Yeah, and it's always so busy in the buffet as well.
Yeah, show you this clip now.
Yeah, and that was us just walking through from one side of the ship to the other, and you just could not move in there for everyone getting in. And also very much P&O, isn't it? In the evenings, it's all very samey. There's not...
But it's hard for us to say this time. We didn't really look in the evenings. But as I said, we did need it. Keys is really good. Olive Grove, enjoy that? Yeah,
the Olive Grove was really tasty. Your pizza was amazing.
Yes, yes it was.
Salads were good. Yeah, good variety.
So I've given you might want to up it a thing. I think reflecting on the food, I've gone for a 4 out of 5. Do you think we need to increase that?
I'll just add here as well that we actually did the drinks package this time, which we...
Oh yes, should we talk about drinks, because the category is food and drink, isn't it? So,
yeah.
So let's talk about drinks.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but
so yes, we did do the drinks package. So what do you think? Do you think it was worth it?
It's really hard to say if the drinks package was worth it or not, because we did get a good deal for the drinks package. Yes. I think Tom tells me we got a good deal for the drinks package.
Yeah.
So with the kids, they're
10% off.
10% off. So how much did we pay for the drinks package for all of us?
So we paid about 400, I think.
Okay. The one really frustrating thing was...
320.
Is that the number you told me?
Yeah. What I'll do is, because I really I can't remember, so I'll put it down. It's on the screen now. So this is how much we paid.
So the one really frustrating thing was because we had the drinks package, the kids got free or cheaper refreshments package.
No, free is included, yeah.
Okay, which is fine, but then they can only have drinks that are on tap. Our kids, wow, they didn't want any of the drinks that were on tap. So some places we would go, they would just use our cards and say, yeah, okay, that's fine. Others, they'd say, oh, you have to wait 15 minutes. And I think actually we did go for a meal one evening, didn't we? And I was really annoyed because the kids both asked for a tango mango. And then I asked for a glass of wine and he'd already put their tango through. So he actually made me wait 15 minutes for my glass of wine. And it had been quite a stressful day that day. And I was really looking forward to that glass of wine. Whereas in other places, they would just kind of go, oh yeah, that's fine. We'll put it all on together.
Yeah.
Drinks wise, I think one good thing about it is you don't then worry, but then P&O prices, I think, are really good value for money anyway. And also, Tom was very clear before we got on, Rachel, you are not allowed to order a large glass of wine, you have to have a medium glass of wine, which again was fine. All the beers that were included were fine, cocktails.
Yeah, if you're a beer drinker, if you're like a spirits drinker, unless you're really a connoisseur on it, you're going to find more than enough on the classic package. Just to clarify, if you get a classic package and you've got 2 kids in your room, then they get the refresh package, which is only the Pepsi lemonade, as you said, a thing off the tap. So when they wanted cans, and you said about place to place, I think it was waiter to waiter, they easily could just done 2 soft drinks and 2 alcohol drinks, but some stuck really too rigidly to it and some didn't. So yes, it's part of our fault and their fault for being annoying and just wanting tango mango, which but yeah, so that is all. So yeah, so in all, I quite enjoyed having it. I'm not sure whether we actually saved any money. I don't think there'd be a massive difference in what we would have drunk or
No,
the fact we relaxed about it, so we could.
Yeah, we just drank normally, didn't we? We didn't have any more. We didn't think, oh, we've got drinks package, we're going to have 15 drinks a day. We definitely didn't have anywhere near 15 a day. But then we were also on the ship quite a bit, so we only got off on the one day. So we did make good use of it. We had it for coffees and stuff as well. So yeah, it was well worth it. And I think it took a lot of that stress away, thinking, oh God, how much have we spent? So 4 out of 5.
Would you agree or disagree?
I would agree 4 out of 5 for food.
4 out of 5.
Yeah.
Lovely. We move on to service. Now, just a reflection on this. Last time we went on a P&O ship was at Arvia when we were all together. I've been on Britannia and you've obviously done Aurora. We gave service a 1 out of 5. And I'll give you a clue now. We're giving it 2 out of 5, so it has slightly improved. I would say the staff the crew are very friendly around the ship. A lot of them, like people like vacuuming on the stairs, always a good morning or that sort of thing. I thought that's improved quite a lot. The problem still is, there's 2 problems in my mind. A, we go back to the app. So you can't have great service if you don't have a proper app. Like for example, Princess, which we talk about a lot. If they introduce the Princess app where you can order things on there, you can get the service. That is going to help everybody rather than just this web page, which is very clicky. Clicky? Is that the right word?
Clunky.
Clunky is the right word. And secondly as well, which we did eat 5 times in the MDR, and they just always seem, it sounds really bad, but they just seem so moody. They just never were like, good evening, or you could never think, Rachel always chuckles sometimes because you always go to a lot of waiters and say, what would you recommend? Which probably a lot of you guys do, but you wouldn't even dare to say what you recommend.
No, God knows what I'd end up with.
Because they were just, am I bad in saying it, but they just seem moody half the time. Where they're overworked, like for example in Aqua, the guy seemed to be waitering for the whole restaurant, didn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, was it the first night, we hadn't even been asked what drinks we wanted, and then they were coming around and trying to take food orders and we weren't quite ready, so then he disappeared and we didn't see him for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree. I think they're just overworked and understaffed really. And I think, yeah, as you say, it's mainly in the restaurant areas. Bars also, because P&O have this really weird, annoying thing where loads of people queue up at the bar, and then there's a barman at the end taking your order, and then they'll say, right, go and sit down. But it's not like that at every single bar. So some bars you can go and stand there and order a drink, and then others you go to a barman, and then others you sit down. It's just not very...
You don't know what you're doing.
From bar to bar, it's not very consistent throughout the whole ship of how things work.
You just don't know. And it's interesting, like we went to the Sky Bar one night, you started lining up and the guy came over and told you to sit down. And then another night they'll let you line up. Do you remember that? Sky Bar, yeah, he was like, oh, so go and sit down. I also noticed as well, and again, this is, I think, because he overworked, and maybe just me looking at it, but they you always felt rude to try and get their attention. A lot of times they never had. They always didn't try and make eye contact. That was my feeling. You know what I mean? They'd serve and they'd all be trying to avoid. Yeah, they were trying to avoid and then so it's the fact that if you've got a line up, if that's the way they're going to get, then line up. But you just don't know what you're doing half the time. You don't know whether you've got to join this queue, whether then after you order you sit down. You can't order straight to the barman. You've got to order to the guy that's standing there. And then a lot of times I think he gets swamped or she gets swamped, so they just stay there, don't they?
Yeah.
So it just seems a lot over the place. And I think the thing is they need a bit more staff to.
They do. I think Crow's Nest is probably one of the only places on the ship for the whole time, and we spent a lot of time in the Crow's Nest this time, which normally we wouldn't have done because when the kids were younger, they would just get bored. But actually, they quite enjoyed chilling out in there this time round, and the service in there was very good. But
Yes.
I would say that was the only place really where you knew you could sit down anywhere and there would be a waiter around at some point that you could.
I think you could jump up points easily if they got a proper working app like Princess. They got a couple more staff and they got a definite way of doing things.
And a bit better management, really.
Better management, yeah.
Saying, well, yeah, better management.
Well, do you remember like an Olive Grove? The it took about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get served, and then the manager noticed we hadn't been served, and he was telling him, we had to tell him twice. So we never saw him again, did we?
No.
So yeah, so I've gone for Rachel out of service 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
It needs vast improvement.
Yes, it does, and it wouldn't take much, as we always say. We look forward to the future. A wonderful service, hopefully.
Yes, and well, I'm very interested to see actually what you think of Aurora as a P&O ship, as it's adult only, and I found the service on there to be completely different to any other P&O ship. So come back next month and you'll see that review.
Yes. Very good advertising for the channel, amazing. And we move on to entertainment. So entertainment, I've put my highlights down here. There was a tribute to Pink, which unfortunately we didn't get to see the first night, but then she came back as Lady Gaga and was excellent.
Yeah, she was really good as Lady Gaga, yeah.
Really, really good. A few of the quizzes were quite good. There was a magician called Magical Bones, and his tricks were good, and towards the end he was really good. It was a bit slow in places, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit long-winded.
It was a bit long-winded, but
you know, it was good. It was a good.
He was a talented guy.
He was very talented. Yeah.
Theatre shows were a bit different on this. We didn't see Greatest Day. We've seen it before and weren't a fan. We saw Festival. Me and Alice liked it. You've seen it obviously a few times now.
I just think get some new entertainment. Like the entertainment we've been going on P&O since just post-COVID, and all of the entertainment is the same. Don't get me wrong, Festival was good first time I'd watched it, but yeah, this time round Ernest and I did actually walk out. It was just a bit
I agree.
boring and a bit samey. If you are seeing it for the first time, yeah, I think everyone's going to be like, oh, that was really, really good. But yeah, when it continues on,
I think in the daytime it lacked. There was entertainment lacked in the daytime, if you ask me as well.
yeah, there was absolutely no entertainment, I would say, really, in the daytime, and it was the most random of things if there was any entertainment. So on some cruise lines, like with the kids, if we've had a day on the ship, we go around and do all the different activities. There was probably 4 or 5 things going on in a whole day that didn't appeal.
One of the things we did in the evening, there was twice there was a silent disco. First time was really, really good. Me and Alice absolutely loved it and it was absolutely packed. They need to do it a second time on a 5-night cruise and it wasn't very busy the second time. I think it's a cheap way of doing entertainment and great, and I'm not knocking it because we had a really good time. And the first time I think they're just pushing that a bit too much. There was a weird bird show, acrobats.
Again, we've seen that before.
Yeah, and that's just really weird.
It was just bizarre. I was really excited about seeing it because we'd been sat by the pool watching it in the daytime with their rehearsals, but when it actually came to it, I didn't really have a clue what was going on.
No, nothing. The Shush, which was the show by Pussycat Dolls lady.
Was that on there?
No, well, it should have been, but we didn't see it. I don't know whether they've pushed that aside. Have you seen it recently on P&O? So that was another one. So all in all,
the boy band were good.
The boy band, yeah, in the they were pretty good
until they started singing Boyzone.
Yeah, and then you left, didn't you? Yeah, I know. And there was some good things going on. The entertainment staff were not too bad. They seem to be doing, and I did enjoy the little button things now they've got. We can do the quizzes.
Oh, and I say that as well. I did play Mario Kart with the kids. There was only 5 people that turned up, so that was quite good. We got to play that.
So all in all, I went with a 2. Am I being a bit harsh? Should I have knocked it up to 2.5?
No, I would go with a 2.
2, yeah. I think they really need get some more shows.
Yeah.
Get some more shows on. We move on now to the ports, and I've just gone 5 out of 5 because I love Rotterdam. This time we'll pop the video in the corner. We did go to Efteling, which is a theme park around about an hour's drive away. We did hire a car. Still waiting for my deposit to come back.
Yeah. Top tip: use a credit card if you're hiring a car.
Yes.
And remember to take your cards off the ship.
Yes, remember to take your cards off. But anyway, that's a me problem. But Rotterdam, there's so much to do. The second day, thank you to Jason on Instagram who gave us a ticket for the tower, which we went up right to the top. Amazing views.
Yeah, that was really lovely.
Before, when we've been in Rotterdam, we've done houses, we've done the food market. And even if we go, we also this time visited the Rotterdam, the New York hotel to see friends of ours for an hour. And we could return and we could do windmills, we could do the boat trips. There's so much to do in Rotterdam, isn't there?
Yeah, I think Rotterdam is one of my favourite ports, and it's so pretty as well.
Yes.
Especially at night when you have sail away. It's just,
Yeah, it is one of, we wouldn't. There's some places where you think, I've done that, I'm not going to go back. But Rotterdam is brilliant. We didn't get off of Bruges because we were a bit tired, but Bruges is a great place, isn't it?
Yeah, and also there was a rail strike, so if we had got off, trying to get a train or anything was going to be near on impossible. So we just didn't get off, did we? The kids wanted to stay on. For
me, I would say for a 5-night cruise, it is the best itinerary. Having an overnight, it just in a city like Rotterdam is great because you can go out in the evening. And you don't like we wouldn't be able to do the theme park because we were worried to get back, wouldn't we? Yeah. So having that overnight, that was fantastic. And I think it was a brilliant itinerary. So I just think it's a 5 out of 5 for me. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, You sure? We move on to our last one, which is value for money. So we paid $1,650 for the 5 nights. 300. I'm saying that. I'm going to put that down on the bottom for our drinks package. Oh, I thought that was included in that 1,600. No, it wasn't. Oh. And on board, we had an onboard spend of just over £100 on board. That included £30 of. We did have £50 onboard credit, and we did spend £30 at Glass House, and there was a few other different shopping bits that we got as well, wasn't there? So all in all, around $2,000 for a 5-night cruise, food and drink. What value do you rate P&O you get nowadays? I think that's really good value for money. I think a lot of other things that we had looked at, holiday-wise, were coming in a lot more expensive. I think the fact that you've got everything there at your fingertips that you need. The kids' prices are great on P&O and with the food as well. A lot of times you do go back to P&O, and this summer we'll be looking to do something different, moving away from P&O. But a lot of times it's very, very hard. If you're in a family of 4, you're looking at the market, especially in the holidays, when you compare to other lines, for example, like Ambassador, they do a couple of kids' cruises, but that's it. You're looking at TUI, we're looking at summer holidays, we're looking at 6,500 plus, 8,000 plus. You're looking at other Princess, again expensive. So a lot of the companies now, it's very, very expensive. And the good thing with P&O, a lot of times they do free kids places, which is great, isn't it? So they do offer great value for money, don't they? Yeah, and as I said, although there wasn't an awful lot for the kids to do on the ship, I think if we've already said to the kids, actually, in the summer holidays, if P&O is the cheapest, but actually there's lots of ports that we'd be going to, then we would do it because we'd be getting off the ship. And when it's warmer weather, they can be entertained a lot easier than when it's cold and you're just stuck inside of the ship. So I do think value for money, P&O, they are always going to come out on top. Yeah, because they've got great prices. And, we criticise the other stuff, and we always will do, service and things like that. That doesn't cost any money, but when it comes down to it... You pay for what you get, really, don't you? And when you've paid that, you kind of just... We're very chilled out, laid back people anyway, so we'll just kind of sit there and go, oh, well, we'll get served when we get served. I'm not going to make a big song and dance about it. And if we'd got that, a lot of the stuff now that we were getting, if we were going on Celebrity, if we were going on other premium brands... we'd absolutely be destroying it because our level would be going up. Yeah. It's like Toby Carvery comparing it to Toby Carvery and comparing it to a posh restaurant. Just trying to think of a chain that's a posh restaurant that everyone would know. But Can't think of one. No, not the Ritz really. Anyway, that's a great comparison there. We'll come back to that one. So I've gone for 4.5.
Yeah, I'd agree 4.5.
4.5. So if we total up the scores, what we'll do is I'll total this up now. So we'll jump to the page when I'll total it up. It's 28 out of... So Rachel, I've been calculating the scores. And the score is 28 out of 40. Would you say that's pretty fair for a 5-night cruise?
Yeah.
I think the thing that let it down this time was food has jumped up since we last been on Iona. Definitely.
So interestingly, the last time we went on Iona in 2023, it scored a 30.5, and it was. Am I going to give it away? It was in the leaderboard.
Yeah.
It's not.
No, it's not now. It's not even in our top 10 since COVID. So you'll see it on the screen now. And I think the main reasons for that, I think food's improved, but service has got worse and entertainment's got worse. And that is the difference in the score.
Yeah. So Aurora was number 6 with 31 points. So it'd be interesting to see what Tom thinks when we go on that. And then when we review it, we'll see if that jumps up or if that comes off the leaderboard as well.
That'll be coming soon to the channel. But for now, press on the screen right now if you would like to see our full vlog of Iona 2025.